Welcome on board EXPLORA1, a brand new ocean experience from EXPLORA Journeys. I'm Neil from the Luxury Travel Co. by Amethyst, and it's been my pleasure to have experienced the most wonderful pre-maiden voyage from Barcelona to Portsmouth on board this beautiful vessel. For those of you who've been following our journey over the last couple of days, you'll note that we haven't actually touched on the experience of EXPLORA Journeys, and we purposely left that to the last. By way of qualification, we have been on board this beautiful ship for the last 4 days as guests of EXPLORA Journeys, and this is not a review, it's more my observations of the experience of being on board and actually grasping the concept of what EXPLORA Journeys really is all about. And maybe now is a really good time to address the elephant in the room, for the want of better words. If you think that EXPLORA Journeys is MSC, it's not. I too expected an elevated MSC Yacht Club experience when coming on board the ship, but EXPLORA Journeys is very definitely its own person. MSC do large cruising with a European flair very, very well. EXPLORA Journeys is not MSC, and that's one of the key takeaways that I have come across over the last 4 or 5 days of being on board the ship. And it's also important to qualify that the voyage that we're on at the moment, in our industry, we call it a shakedown cruise. Although this is not a cruise, it's a journey. And it gives the crew an opportunity to fine-tune the activities on board the ship, to get themselves together when it comes to service and practice as such. So there are 1 or 2 areas that have not been open, and I'm not going to lie, there are 1 or 2 hiccups. Particularly sort of the embarkation procedure needed a little bit of polishing. There was a bit of a mix-up with my cabin when I checked in. But the most important thing is that we sort of sat down and we analyzed what went wrong, and it's an opportunity to make sure that that doesn't happen again. And I have struggled over the last 3 or 4 days to really understand what EXPLORA Journeys is. And yesterday, I got it. We had a wonderful Teams interaction with Mr. Vargo, who is one of the founders and family members of the MSC family. They have a 300-year tradition of seafaring, and he is very passionate about EXPLORA Journeys. And yesterday afternoon, it clicked. It fell into place. For the last 3 days, I've been sort of thinking, a guest who's been on Regent wouldn't like that, or would this work for a customer who travels on Silversea or Seabourn? But perhaps the most important thing is EXPLORA Journeys is EXPLORA Journeys. It's not Seabourn. It's not Regent. And I've been trying to get it into my head who the target market is, who's the guest going to be. And it sort of dawned on me yesterday, which is day 4, that the target market is me. I am comfortable. I love traveling. I no longer like too much structure. I like the flexibility to do what I want to do when I want to do it. I like to be able to dip in, dip out. I like contemporary European style. I like to visit interesting ports of call that are off the beaten track. And to be honest, EXPLORA Journeys is quite unlike anything that I've been on on before. And it's taken me a while to come to that conclusion. And I've actually realized that I'm absolutely loving it. And I would so do this again. To touch a little bit on the philosophy. So there's a common thread that runs throughout the voyage, termed ocean state of mind. And if you've been following our channel over the last 4 or 5 days, you will have noticed that ocean state of mind permeates throughout the ship. And to define an ocean state of mind, it contains many components, from wellness to relaxation to good food to education to curiosity to knowledge. And these components are all interwoven throughout your onboard experience, onboard EXPLORA1. To give you an example, they have the most incredible wellness activities throughout the day. I mean, many of these you would find on other cruise companies. You have your yoga, you have your interactions, but on board, you have luminaries who are experts in their field, and they convey their knowledge in certain areas, particularly relevant to where the ship's traveling. But I love the fact, and this doesn't just extend to the luminaries, it includes the artists on board, that there's a direct interaction with the guests. So it's not a case of a performer will complete their show and you won't see them again until night number 3. They come out, they're into the audience, they're interacting with you, they'll sit and have a drink with you. The gentleman who you've just had your lecture on Nordic history, for example, will come and sit with you at the bar and have a chat. It starts to make you feel like you are part of something, if that's the right way to explain it. A couple of other things that I can really take away from my last 4 days on board EXPLORA1 are the staff, the crew. We don't call them crew, we don't call them staff, they are hosts. They are hosting their guests. And granted, many of the senior personnel have been drawn from some of the top cruise companies in the world, such as Regent, Oceania, and Seabourn. But virtually all of the service staff who I've come across have never been on a ship before. Now, to me, that would raise a red flag, but it's actually quite the opposite. Many of the hosts have been drawn from some of the leading hotels of the world, and they bring a certain finesse to the service level on board the ship, which I've really, really appreciated. I've not met one person who has not made me feel welcome. I've felt appreciated, I've felt valued, but I never felt superior. I felt that it was their pleasure to assist me with my experience on board. Another point is the cuisine on board. For many people who are accustomed to the main dining experience, you have a seating at 6:30, a seating at 9:30, and you choose from a changing menu every night. You're not going to find that on EXPLORA1. Instead, you have a range of eateries to choose from, ranging from casual to fine dining. And with the exception of Anthology, which has a revolving series of Michelin star chefs and guest chefs from regions around the world, all of your onboard dining is included. Anthology attracts a surcharge. Everything I've had on board has been of a quality that I have not experienced on board a ship before. And what has also struck me has been the knowledge that the hosts and the servers have about the dishes that they are serving, and the provenance of the ingredients, but in a genuine way. And I've been taken back on a couple of occasions by how much they know about the dishes that they are serving and where they come from and which are their favorites and why. Another really amazing factor that I've enjoyed across the whole ship has been the curated music. everywhere I go, there is the most beautiful music playing. And it just sets the tone for the day. So there are so many pluses to taking a voyage on EXPLORA journeys. Another area that has really struck me on board, and bear in mind that as we're on a shakedown cruise, we've actually not stopped at any ports. So sadly, we've not been able to experience the land program, which I want to touch on very briefly here, because you can't book a tour. There's no such thing as tours. You have destination experiences, and they are small group experiences, 10 to 16 guests, and the itineraries and the immersive experiences that you can enjoy while in port really set the ship apart. And another aspect of the land program that really struck me is your ability to tailor-make. If there is a experience that you particularly would like to do in a port of call, EXPLORA Journeys will arrange it for you. Whether it's for one person, two people, or six people, you have that flexibility. And flexibility is possibly also one of the themes that has permeated throughout the entire voyage. There are no time constraints. I haven't felt that I had to be in a certain place at a certain time. It's not stiff in any way. The hosts and my fellow guests are approachable. It's vibrant, it's cosmopolitan, and it's contemporary. And that is the kind of atmosphere that I want when I'm on vacation. I don't want to have to walk around with a schedule and be pinned down to certain times. I mean, granted, to a degree, when you're dining and there's something that you particularly want to go and see in one of the lounges, but it's just it's so informal, it's so not structured. And that to me has really been one of the most powerful selling points of EXPLORA journeys. And I'd also like to touch a little bit on, I'm going to say cabin for 2 seconds, and then I will never repeat the word again, because there are no cabins on EXPLORA journeys. There are homes at sea. They are suites. And I really felt like my accommodation on board felt like a swanky cosmopolitan New York apartment. And the decor reflected that. The penthouses and the residences all felt like homes at sea. And I like the decor, I like the wonderful little touches and amenities that you find in the suites. So in a nutshell, as I mentioned earlier, it's taken me a while to get it. But if you are the sort of traveler who does not want to be constrained, who does not necessarily want to wear a tuxedo every second night, I know I don't. I like to be resort casual, I like to be smart, but I don't want to put a jacket and tie on every night when I'm on holiday. I don't want to have to choose between having dinner at 6:30 or 9:30. I don't want to participate in activities that maybe are very structured. I don't want to go on land tours on a coach with 44 other people walking around a city following someone with a yellow flag. I want to be in a comfortable space. But also, if you look at the inclusions, you know, I sometimes feel on some of the cruise lines, you know, it's pay. It's your drinks package, it's your Wi-Fi package, it's speciality dining. There's a surcharge for this, there's a surcharge for that. You know, here you can just walk up to the bar and order a drink, whatever drink you want. I can log into my Wi-Fi. I can FaceTime my mom. You know, I don't have to worry that, oh, have I prepaid my gratuities? Do I have enough cash on me to pay my gratuities? Or did I forget to tip the waiter? Did I forget to tip the server in the restaurant, or the barman? I don't have to think about those things, and that's what I want when I'm on vacation. I don't want to think, and I want to do things at my own pace and my own speed. And I've cruised many times in my life. I've been on many different lines. I've experienced many different ships. And I kind of think that I personally have found my perfect cruise holiday. So thank you for joining us on this incredible voyage. Please like our channel. Please leave us a comment. If you'd like to get in touch, please do so. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have about EXPLORA1. I have EXPLORA1 to the ship from top to bottom, so I'm happy to give you any guidance, or if you have any questions about the experiences on board, or the philosophy of Explorer journeys, or the ocean state of mind. From the beautiful EXPLORA1 by Explorer Journeys on the Atlantic Ocean, I'm Neil from the Luxury Travel Co. by Amethyst. Thank you for sailing with us, and we'll see you on the high seas.